For centuries, some of the world's greatest mysteries have remained hidden, locked away deep beneath the ground we walk upon. These were stories whispered through generations, tales of magnificent cities lost to time, of monumental undertakings by forgotten peoples, and of armies frozen in silent watch. For so long, many believed these accounts were just legends, the fanciful creations of poets and dreamers, with no basis in the solid reality of our world. They were epic poems, not historical records, myths, not truths. But the Earth, in its patient, silent way, holds on to its secrets, and with the careful, persistent work of archaeologists, these secrets are slowly being coaxed into the light. With trowel and brush, with painstaking excavation and brilliant deduction, these dedicated individuals have peeled back the layers of soil and time to uncover the truth. They have found tangible evidence that has solved secrets buried for thousands of years, transforming what we once thought was mere folklore into documented history. And so today, I invite you to join me on a journey into the past. We will travel across continents and through millennia to explore 4 incredible, buried secrets that archaeologists have, at long last, solved. These are stories of human ingenuity, ambition, and belief, rescued from the oblivion of the Earth and returned to the great narrative of our shared human story. From the walls of a legendary city to the silent ranks of an underground army, the past is about to speak. The tale of Troy is one of the most enduring in all of human history. It is a story immortalized by the blind poet Homer, a grand epic of heroes and gods, of a decade-long war fought over a woman of legendary beauty, ending in the city's fiery destruction by way of a cunning trick: the Trojan horse. For nearly 3,000 years the world listened to this tale, but for most of that time it was considered just that, a magnificent story, a foundational myth of Western literature, but a myth nonetheless. A city of such grandeur, the site of such a monumental conflict, seemed too fantastical to have truly existed. Scholars and historians debated its location, or if it had a location at all. Was it a real place, or a metaphor? The trail, it seemed, had gone cold, buried under countless centuries of dust and doubt. But one man, a German businessman named Heinrich Schliemann, was consumed by a passionate, almost fanatical belief. He was convinced that Homer's words were not fiction, but a guide, a map leading to a physical place. He staked his fortune and his reputation on the conviction that Troy was real, and that he could find it. Following the geographical clues woven into the fabric of the Iliad, Schliemann focused his search on a large hill known as Hisarlik, in what is now northwestern Turkey. In 1871 he began to dig. His methods, by today's standards, were crude, even destructive. He drove a great trench through the heart of the mound, cutting through layers of history with a haste that modern archaeologists would find horrifying. But his relentless, almost brutal determination yielded results that would stun the world and forever change our understanding of the ancient past. Layer by layer, the hill of Hisarlik gave up its secrets. Schliemann uncovered not one city, but a succession of them, built one on top of the other, over millennia. And in one of these layers, designated Troy II, he found evidence of a wealthy, fortified citadel. He discovered magnificent golden treasures, which he famously named Priam's treasure, believing he had found the hoard of Troy's last king. More importantly, he found clear, unmistakable signs of a city that had been destroyed by a catastrophic fire, its walls toppled, its inhabitants vanquished in a great war. While Schliemann's initial conclusions were debated, and later archaeologists refined his work, identifying a different layer, Troy 7a, as the more likely candidate for Homer's city, his fundamental achievement was undeniable. He had taken the city of Troy from the realm of myth and placed it firmly on the map of the real world. The excavations proved that a powerful Bronze Age city had indeed flourished here, and that it had met a violent end, consistent with the epic tale. The whispers of Homer had been given a foundation of stone and ash. The Great Pyramids of Giza. There are few structures on Earth that inspire such awe and wonder. For over 4,500 years, they have stood as silent witnesses to the rise and fall of empires, their perfect geometry a testament to an extraordinary ambition. For much of that history, a dark shadow hung over their creation. The sheer scale of the undertaking, quarrying, transporting, and lifting millions of massive stone blocks, seemed to defy the capabilities of an ancient society. How could such a feat be accomplished? The prevailing theory, popularized by the Greek historian Herodotus and perpetuated for centuries in books and films, was as vast and bleak as the pyramids themselves. It was a vision of immense, human suffering. The story told was of 100,000 slaves, captured in foreign wars or born into servitude, toiling under the brutal lash of the pharaoh's overseers. They were depicted as a disposable workforce, driven to their deaths by a tyrannical king's obsession with his own immortality. This narrative of slavery seemed the only plausible explanation for such a colossal, back-breaking project. This belief colored our perception of ancient Egyptian society, painting it as a civilization built upon a foundation of cruelty and coercion. The pyramids were not just tombs but monuments to oppression, but history, like the desert sands, can shift, revealing new truths that lie beneath. In the 1990s, a remarkable discovery was made, not in the royal chambers of the pyramids, but in their very shadow. An American tourist, riding a horse, stumbled upon a previously unknown wall, which led archaeologists to a stunning find. What they uncovered was not a pit of nameless slaves, but an entire city, a lost settlement purpose-built for the very people who constructed the pyramids. And nearby, they found their cemeteries. These were not the mass graves one might expect for an enslaved population. Instead, they were organized tombs, filled with the respectful burials of the men and women who had labored on the Giza Plateau. The skeletons they found showed signs of a life of hard physical labor, fused vertebrae, stress fractures, and amputations, but they also showed signs of expert medical care. Bones were set, and surgeries performed, with a skill that indicated these people were highly valued. The tombs contained bread and beer jars, provisions for the afterlife, an honor not afforded to slaves. Inscriptions referred to the workers as the Friends of Khufu, and work gangs had names like the Drunkards of Menkaure. This was the language of a proud, organized, and respected workforce. These were skilled Egyptian laborers, conscripted for a national project, who came from villages all over the country to serve their pharaoh and their gods. The discovery completely rewrote the story. The pyramids were not built by slaves, but by a nation of dedicated and skilled citizens. High in the Andes Mountains of Peru, veiled in cloud and clinging to a narrow ridge, is a city of impossible beauty, Machu Picchu. For centuries after the fall of the Inca Empire to Spanish conquistadors, its existence was a secret known only to a few local people living in the deep valleys below. The Spanish, in their quest for gold and converts, never found it. The city remained untouched, a silent stone sanctuary sleeping in the sky, its original purpose shrouded in the mists of time. When the American explorer Hiram Bingham was led to the site in 1911, the world was mesmerized. Here was a perfectly preserved Inca city with its fine stone palaces, temples, and houses still standing. But what was it? Who lived here and why was it built in such a remote and inaccessible location? Initial theories abounded. Was it the mythical lost city of Vilcabamba, the last refuge of the Incas? Was it a fortress to defend against jungle tribes, or perhaps a sacred convent for the Virgins of the Sun? The mystery deepened as archaeologists studied the site. They found no written records as the Inca did not have a system of writing as we know it. The secrets of Machu Picchu were locked within its very stones and the layout of its structures. The initial interpretation that it was a military fortress began to crumble under closer inspection. The city's defenses seemed more ceremonial than practical. And its location, while remote, was not strategically optimal for controlling the region. The theory of it being a convent was also disproven by later analysis of the skeletal remains found at the site. The real breakthrough came through a combination of archaeology, ethnohistory, and an understanding of the Inca worldview. Researchers began to see Machu Picchu not as a city in the conventional sense, but as something far more specialized. They noted its alignment with sacred mountains and astronomical events, like the solstice. The exceptional quality of the stonework in certain buildings suggested they were meant for royalty and high priests. The clues pointed towards a site of profound royal and religious significance. It is now understood that Machu Picchu was a royal estate, a seasonal retreat built around 1450 for the great Inca emperor Pachacuti. It was a place where the Sapa Inca and his court could rest, perform religious ceremonies, and rule from a place of immense natural power and beauty. The site's remarkable terraces were not just for farming, but were part of a sophisticated water management and agricultural laboratory. Machu Picchu stands today as a breathtaking monument to the Incas' mastery of civil engineering, their profound connection to the cosmos, and the sheer power of their empire. In March of 1974, a group of farmers in China's Shanxi province were digging a well, hoping to find water during a drought. Instead of water, their shovels struck something hard. It was the head of a man, exquisitely sculpted from clay. Unwittingly, they had stumbled upon one of the most astonishing archaeological discoveries of all time. They had found the vanguard of a silent, subterranean army that had stood guard, unknown to the world, for more than 2,000 years. As archaeologists began to excavate, the sheer scale of the find became apparent. Pit after pit was uncovered, revealing rank upon rank of life-sized soldiers, sculpted from terracotta clay. There were archers, cavalrymen, with their horses, charioteers, and infantrymen holding real bronze weapons that were still sharp. It was an entire imperial army, recreated in meticulous detail and buried in battle formation, facing east, ready to defend against any threat from that direction. The discovery was breathtaking. The army was created for one purpose, to protect Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China in the afterlife. The emperor was a man of immense power and even greater ambition, known for starting the Great Wall and for his obsession with immortality. He believed his life in the next world should be as grand and well protected as his life on Earth. This Terracotta Army was to be his eternal guard, a testament to his power that would last for all time. What is perhaps most remarkable is the individuality of the soldiers. Of the more than 8,000 figures unearthed so far, no two faces are exactly alike. Each warrior has a unique expression, hairstyle, and features, suggesting they may have been modeled on real soldiers from the emperor's actual army. The level of craftsmanship is extraordinary, showcasing the incredible artistry and organizational skill of the Qin dynasty. Every detail, from the tread on their shoes to the rivets on their armor, was carefully rendered. The Terracotta Army is just one part of a much larger necropolis, a vast, unexcavated complex that is said to replicate the emperor's entire domain, complete with palaces, offices, and even rivers of mercury. The central tomb of the emperor himself remains sealed, its secret still waiting. But the discovery of his silent army has already given us an unparalleled glimpse into the mind of this powerful ruler and the military might that allowed him to forge a nation. It is a buried secret that, once revealed, showed the world the incredible scale of ancient Chinese ambition and artistry. These stories serve as a powerful reminder that history is not a static subject, confined only to the pages of dusty books and ancient scrolls. It is a living, breathing entity, with vast chapters still hidden right beneath our feet. The ground we tread is a library of human experience, and every discovery, from a single clay soldier to the foundations of a forgotten city, is like finding a lost volume. These are not just artifacts, they are the tangible echoes of lives lived, of ambitions pursued, and of beliefs held with profound conviction. The work of the archaeologist is, in many ways, a conversation with the past. With each layer of earth they remove, they are asking questions, and the finds they unearth are the answers. These discoveries continually challenge and reshape our understanding of who we are and where we come from. They prove that our ancient ancestors were not primitive, but were engineers, artists, astronomers, and thinkers of incredible sophistication. They force us to reconsider the narratives we have long held to be true, and to marvel at the depth of human ingenuity across the ages. And the quest is far from over. All around the world, new technologies are allowing archaeologists to see beneath the ground in ways they never could before. There are countless more secrets waiting patiently in the dark, more stories to be told. Perhaps the next great mystery, a discovery that will once again redefine our past, is lying just inches below the surface, waiting for a curious mind and a careful hand to bring it back into the light of our modern world.